Hello and welcome back to the Fandom podcast. This is episode 37, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 37. It better be because I put that on the thumbnail. And I'm here with Aaron. No guests, just Aaron.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
I'm not recording today.
No, I'm filming for the first time in a while, so hopefully it goes well. It never seems to go well.
No,
when I
it
record.
always seems to come out like 2 days later. By the way, we are recording this on a
Yes.
Monday, so
Yes.
yeah, it just doesn't really.
If
you already think it's come out a couple
should.
of days later, then it hasn't.
Yeah, it should hopefully be alright today with this episode. Few things to talk about this week. We got She-Hulk. That was about it new for this week. We've both watched a film or two from earlier on this year, a bit earlier. Yours
Well, I mean,
quite recent.
I think I watched Nope Saturday. That's what I'm reviewing today. I think that released a couple of weeks back.
Nope's quite a recent one. I've been catching up this week. I watched Uncharted. I watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the Nicolas Cage film, and I also watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is what I'm doing today, what I'm reviewing and talking about.
Can I get your quick review on I was going to say, can I get a review on Uncharted? Like, just quick thoughts on it.
A decent film. It was probably a bit better than I expected, to be fair. It's just a fun adventure film, really, isn't it? It's not the best film ever, but it's a decent film. I think I've got it like 5th or 6th on my ranking so far this year.
Fair enough.
6th, 7th-ish, so it's doing decent.
Some of the film, it's kind of slipped down to 5th.
Yeah. We've had some really good films this year, I've realised, but it's not an amazing film, but it's very good still. And I enjoyed it. So yeah. First proper review. I think you're going to review Nope, aren't you? First.
Yeah, Nope. Let's get started off with this. So I came into this film thinking, okay, so I'm not too massive on the horror franchise, but this film looks very cool. Like it's like most horror films, it's got an amazing concept, and the idea is also very cool. It's directed by Jordan Peele, who is I think he's a comedy comedy director, comedian, that kind of thing. So he has done horror films in the past, though, being Us. One other that I can't remember. But he in this film it was a massive disappointment in my opinion. First of all, there was I think looking at the bigger picture of it, my first complaint is Gordy, the monkey. At the start of the film, it showed him how he basically lost it on set and killed everybody. It shows like the animal cruelty, which is kind of what is represented later on in the film as well. I don't think it was needed though. That's the thing. It felt like an irrelevant scene, and it felt too unrealistic too. I know in a horror film, but the UFO kind of thing did the flying saucer, but it's just a Gordy, a monkey going about and killing everybody, and then he gets a shotgun to the head. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Second of all, I think the characters weren't as developed as much. They just seemed to be characters, flown in there, like Angel, and the guy who owns Jupiter Ranch. I can't remember his name. They both seemed most senior characters are just put in, and the film director. That's another one too. The film director just, basically, I lost attention for 1 second of it. What I saw, he was like sacrificing himself or something. He literally went straight into the UFO thing. Now the UFO thing isn't actually a yeah, the UFO thing isn't actually UFO. It's a like a jellyfish kind of thing. I should actually call its real name the Jean Jacket, but yeah, we get to see it casually took up some of these characters without them being truly developed, and like Angel survived in the end, but I mean, he really needed? Not really. So like they could have just he was like an electrician guy. He could have just fitted up a few cameras by himself, but yeah, that's that's it. And the director, like I said before, I lost attention for a second. Um, yeah, so I lost attention for a second during Nope, and that's when he got sucked up. So it didn't really make much sense. I mean, he just casually sacrificed himself to go up there. It wasn't even a sacrifice, I don't think. Yeah, he just got sucked up there. So we do get to see. I think one positive about this film was the design of the jean jacket. He's like it's such a unique design. I will say that uh, I think that was one part that I wanted to watch more of, but the whole functions of it as well. Um, don't look up at it. Just, mm, uh, I thought the storyline was a bit weak too. It just, it got a little bit pissed. The jean jacket, and that's why, uh, that's why it came back and tried to meet OJ, um, his sister, and the other lads. It didn't really work. A lot of it. Um, there were some good scenes, and sadly, throughout most of the film, like most horror films, um, it just yeah, like most horror films, it just it had a good concept, but sadly failed to execute it very well. And eventually, um, the Jean Jacket did end up dying as he gets popped by a balloon. Literally, it just gets popped like a bloody balloon.
Oh,
Um, yeah. So it wasn't. It was also no. It also wasn't a great death either. But then, yeah, I think there was another part to this the Jean Jacket that we saw as well, where when the humans are being sucked inside of it, and we saw like its actual stomach kind of thing. The best way to describe it without actually watching the film is um, like when Boba Fett was inside the Bantha, but just much more narrower. And I thought that was cool to see too. But I think what we wanted to see more of in this film was the jean jacket itself. But there we go. Um,
yeah, okay.
so yeah, I'll give this film um, out of 10. I gave it a 5 out of 10. I think at the start
Oh,
of it,
okay.
like yeah, before watching it, I was really hooked onto it. Now, yeah, after I watched it, I thought this was terrible. And then after doing like a little bit of after looking like an explanation videos of it, um, I can see how sort of things justified itself. So that's why I raised it up a level. But at the same time, I can't ignore the fact that it was also a very, yeah, just a very bad film.
Okay. Um, I'm not too into horror films, but I'll probably give it a watch at some point. Uh, yeah, it looks alright, like you say, from trailers. That, but yeah, I'll see for myself what I think. Next, I think I'm going to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once. So it's a film that came out a couple of months ago now, I think. I think it was like June, July sort of time. And I actually hadn't heard of it until like it was just everywhere online, and it became very popular online. I saw lots of people calling it like the best film of the year, saying it's like what Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was like missed out on and was meant to be. So I've been wanting to watch it for like I say, a couple of months. And I finally got around to doing that the other day. I rented it out on Amazon.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
My Alexa just went off for some reason. Yeah. So yeah, I rented it out, and it was a good film. It's a very good film. One of my favourites of the year so far, I'd say. It's a crazy film. Very strange, but it is a very good film. It's this wild film about this woman who her life's kind of crumbling around her. Her husband wants a divorce. Her daughter's gay, but doesn't want to. I don't know. She doesn't really want to accept that almost. She's got loads of tax problems. So yeah, things aren't really going her way in life. And then because of this, she then somehow ends up in the multiverse on some adventure. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to explain. It's a very weird film, like I say, and it takes them the first half of the film to explain everything that's going on. So I can't really explain it all here. But like I say, it's very good. Yeah, like people said, it's kind of what people expected Multiverse of Madness to be. People wanted it to be constantly travelling around universes, seeing really weird stuff, seeing really cool stuff happen. And that's what happens in this film. So you see all sorts of crazy fights, you see all sorts of crazy universes, all sorts of jokes, and yet it still manages to just be a small story. Sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's chaos, it's madness, and yet it still manages to be this just small story about this family who just have their own little personal struggles, and it's about them learning to accept each other. It's got all sorts of crazy universes, all sorts of running jokes. There's one about Rakakuni, which is when she messes up the title to Ratatouille, thinking it's about a guy with a raccoon on his head. And yeah, then she ends up traveling to a universe where that is actually happening. A guy is being taught how to cook by a raccoon on his head. So yeah, it's all sorts of weird stuff like that. There's a universe where they all have like sausages for fingers, and the villain of the film that has made this giant weapon called the Everything Bagel. That's just a massive bagel that destroys matter. So you can probably tell from that it's very weird. But like I say, it still manages to be really emotional in the end. It's so weird. It's funny all throughout. It's got action, it's got comedy, and yet it still manages to have a very emotional and resonating ending. Where, like I say, this family learns to accept each other. She learns to accept her daughter. Her and her husband kind of learn how to accept each other. And then they kind of get their taxes sorted. It's a really weird film, really weird situation, like I said. But it is a really good film. I definitely recommend watching it. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it than that. I really like the way they handle the multiverse in this film as well. It's not just them traveling to multiple universes. It's them kind of their consciousness being taking over another person's body in another universe, almost like dreamwalking in Multiverse Madness. But they still also have their own consciousness in their own universe, so they're kind of split between the two universes. And I think that's a really interesting take, and I like how they just set all the rules, and they've followed these rules all throughout the film. There's no gaping plot holes or anything. There's nothing where anything could be done differently. It works really well. And yeah, it's a really interesting concept of how to handle the multiverse, I think. Yeah, it ends up in some crazy scenes, but it's very good. I don't know what genre this film would be, if I'm honest, because it's got a bit of everything. And yeah, it's a very good film in general, I think. It's one that wasn't advertised much, but it's a really popular one as well, I think, so it's got the popularity it needs. So yeah, that's about it, I think. Can't really think of anything else to say. Overall, I gave this a 9 out of 10. I think it's like my third favourite film of the year so far. So yeah, it's just beaten
what
Minions.
films that just take over?
What's that, sorry?
Minions.
Yeah.
Is that just taking over Minions?
It's just beaten Minions, which I'm very sad about, but yeah, Minions. What was behind that? I think Multiverse of Madness. The only ones in front of it are the Batman is first, and then what second? Top Gun is second.
I thought you put Top Gun first.
I don't know. The Batman and Top Gun are like kind of interchangeable. They're both really good films. So sometimes I think about it. I'm like, the Batman's better, and other times I think, why isn't Top Gun first?
You know what? You can put them as a draw at the end of the year if you want to. Join first.
Yeah, I'll see. I've had loads of weird situations like that, but I'll see what I'm thinking by the end of the year. I think I might go back and try and rewatch as many as possible before I kind of finalise the list.
Yeah, I will probably go back and rewatch Top Gun Maverick, Batman, and definitely Doctor Strange. Well, yeah, definitely the Marvel films. I'll go back and rewatch them just to see if they are any better.
Yeah, I'll see. But yeah, 9 out of 10 and third favourite film of the year. That was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now I believe we have She-Hulk, right?
Yeah, She-Hulk episode 2.
Do you want to start off with this one?
Yeah, so I found this episode to be better than the first one. It definitely got on with the story quite well. Jen, it starts off with Jen proceeding to lose her job as she becomes She-Hulk, as companies think she's a liability to maybe like supervillain attacks, them kind of thing. So she loses her job and gets hired by I can't actually remember the name of them.
No,
but yeah, she gets hired by the opposing party in the first episode in court. So she gets hired by them and starts the job there, where we see she's defending Abomination. Emil Blonsky. So that's very cool to see. I thought we were going to see him later on, to be honest. I
Yeah.
didn't expect him to be right here, but there we go. That's pretty good. But I think one thing I took away from this was Hulk. Well, Hulk before, when Jen asked Hulk for basically like permission to take Emil Blonsky on the case. I thought we saw him in space in this car and shit. So definitely thinking right now, World War Hulk is happening soon.
Yeah.
World War Hulk, yeah.
Something to do with World War Hulk or something like that is definitely in the works, I think.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting. I just want to see proper Hulk raging and going on rampages again.
Yeah, I don't want to see this Hulk that's managing to lose to his cousin, who's only been a Hulk for about a month.
Yeah,
Now we need to see the Hulk that we need to see Thor Ragnarok Hulk again.
Yeah, no more bruh Hulk.
Yeah, no, I swear to God, that's the worst. That may be the weakest Hulk we've ever seen. Like they're the lowest of the low.
He can't even stop a jeep.
In anything, I'm talking like it was even worse than probably the Hulk in like kids' TV shows or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
It was
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, I don't like this Hulk at the moment, so I'm glad we're getting a different type.
One thing I did also catch from this as well is 7 soulmates. He mentioned Emil Blonsky, and that's what I'm starting to think. It's 7. How many? I think there's like 7 people in the Thunderbolts. So, is he talking about the Thunderbolts there that he's going to live with, and that's what it's about? Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
That's just a small theory I've got, but
that could make sense.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to set up everything. Maybe a post-credit scene in the last episode.
Oh yeah.
And looking at the end of the trailer as well. No, not the end of the trailer. Oh, geez. The end of the episode. We see on the TV that Abomination as well in that scene in Shang-Chi when Abomination and Wong had a fight in that illegal fighting thing. We see him there, and I think that's when I think Wong is going to appear in episode 3.
Yeah, that was my thoughts.
Just because of that. Yeah, I think it would make sense because, well, obviously because of the fact that Wong might go in there and try and defend Abomination. I don't know. We'll see, but
yeah.
Which that could also be why I think they said season 1 episode. They said episode 3 was going to have a very important post-credit scene. So it could be something to do with Thunderbolts. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe who knows? I think Daredevil. I can see there's 9 episodes in this series. I can see Daredevil fitting in around episode 6, episode 7.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's my theory on characters coming in. Do you reckon Shang-Chi could come into this though?
I'm not sure because we obviously getting Wong, and we saw Bruce in the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. But yeah, I'm not fully sure. I can't really see where Shang-Chi is gonna fit in from now. That's one thing we've not really heard much about. So I think we could get some sort of mention to him, or we could see him maybe. I can't see him having a very big role in the series, but I think.
What I do think is he can't just be ignored until until Shang-Chi 2.
Yeah.
So he needs to be in this, I think.
Yeah, and this series was like described and advertised as having a lot of like appearances and cameos in it. So I think it is a possibility. Definitely could happen. Yeah, like you say, I think we need to see more of him before Shang-Chi 2, which is probably only going to be like phase 6 now.
Yeah, probably. Maybe phase 5, potentially, but where would he fit in?
Yeah, phase 5's already looking pretty full. That's the only thing. Whereas phase 6, we got loads of like blank release dates, didn't we? So it could be one of them.
Yeah, I think we also saw some hints in it as well as to Wolverine on the ad, which is surprising, to be honest, because I wouldn't really suspect Wolverine to like make any kind of reference in a show like this.
Yeah,
But fair enough.
I wasn't expecting that actually, so I was quite surprised when I saw that mention, like you say, of Wolverine.
Yeah, which makes me think he is going to appear before the Kang Dynasty.
Yeah. I'm just happy that we're getting more and more mentions of mutants now in the MCU, because I think we're ready for the X-Men and mutants and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm just glad we're getting mentions and stuff of them.
Another thing, on that same webpage, we do also see finally something that I'm glad that hasn't been ignored. Is the Celestial in the middle of the ocean? Like, surely someone's gonna, surely a satellite or someone's gonna see that from space and be like, "Hang on a minute, why is there a massive head out of the ocean, like a massive hand?"
Yeah, I was wondering when they were going to mention the fact that this massive creature thing was just coming out of the ocean, but yeah,
Is no one is also no one going crazy about the fact that Arasham, a massive like celestial god, also was like literally right next to the Earth. Like, has no one else seen that?
Yeah, it's I think they're kind of forgetting about Eternals a bit at the moment.
Yeah.
But
which is
some crazy stuff happened in that film, and it definitely needs to be mentioned at some point.
Yeah, which is why I think Eternals would be perfect in either a Captain Marvel 2 post-credit scene or Guardians of the Galaxy 3 post-credit scene. One of them two has to be.
Yeah, it has to fit into something on like the cosmic level and like the space level. So I think that's where they could possibly be.
Yeah. Also, potentially one idea could be that Star-Lord joins the Celestials.
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
joins the Eternals to get their friends back, because he has, but he does have celestial knowledge, so potentially.
Yeah, possibly. It depends how Guardians 3 ends, and I could see there being a few deaths in Guardians 3. So, yeah, like you say, well, anything could happen from now. I think Marvel's got a plan. And I'm just happy they do have a plan. But like I say, I'm wanting to see more of these things start to connect up now, because we've had lots of just random stuff in Phase 4. And yeah, I'm ready to see it all tie together. And yeah, Star-Lord's definitely one of the characters that can go and interact with other groups after Guardians 3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it is. You brought it up before that you might just go join another group, and I think it would make sense for him to go join the Eternals, and maybe as in like a Phase 6 film, we get to see. We get to see them get their friends back. Who knows?
Yeah. That'd be an interesting match against the Eternals. They're kind of like these ancient beings with intricately designed suits and stuff. And then Star-Lord's just some random guy from Earth in just a jacket and a t-shirt and trousers.
So
yeah, interesting matching. That'd be.
yeah, that's about it really. I mean, I don't think I've got anything else to say on She-Hulk.
Yeah, like you say, it was better than episode 1, I'd say. It's still not like one of my favourite Marvel shows so far. It's not as good as some of the others, but it is decent, I'd say, so far. She-Hulk, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
looking forward to all the appearances going
yeah.
forward.
I will say though, I think this episode was just a bit too short.
Yeah, it felt very fast moving, and then you got to the end, and you were kind of like, is that it?
Yeah. All right then. So, that's about it. Do you want to give a rating out of 10?
I've gone for a 7.5 out of 10.
I've gone for a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I'm not sure. Have you got anything else to talk about? I've not.
I mean, I think it might as well be mentioned now that apparently I saw a couple of weeks back that it's rumored phases. I think it's 7 to 9, or yeah, phases 7 to 9 will be about the mutants, or will be like the mutant saga.
Yeah, which, like I said, I think we're ready to see the mutants, and we're starting to get them mentioned a bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they adapt that into the MCU, and castings as well. Like, we might get Giancarlo Esposito playing Professor X.
Yeah, as Charles Xavier, yeah.
Which would be crazy.
One thing I will also say, as much as I'd like to see the mutants get their own, well, I think the mutant saga has a lot of potential. I also think characters like Null, the King of Symbiotes, needs to be explored, and who else? And Galactus, because I saw something today. Josh, I'll send it to you after this, but Null is one of the the most powerful characters in the MCU.
Yeah,
I think he defeated a character. The name I can't remember. I never really remember names. Yeah, he defeated someone on the same level as Eternity, so not on the same cosmic level as Eternity. So he needs to be explored at one point. That's the thing, because he'll be the biggest thing I think the Marvel will be able to face up against.
Yeah. Possibly the last ever Marvel film, although I can't see that being for a while. So
yeah, it needs to be. There needs to be like a full-on symbiote saga, and he needs to be the main villain.
Yeah. I can see some symbiote stuff coming with the Eternals post-credit scene with Dane Whitman and Blade.
Yeah, and Gore the God Butcher as well, the Necro Sword.
Yes. So we've had a couple of hints to symbiotes, and the Venom post-credit scene to Spider-Man.
Yeah, so there's obviously mentions of it, and I think I would prefer to see a symbiote saga after the after the Secret Wars.
Yeah. With Marvel, there's so many comics, so there's so many paths they can go down. So they're still very free to do whatever they like, really. And yeah, there's lots of really cool things they can do with that.
Yeah, so that's about it. I haven't really got anything else to say on this.
No, I don't think I've got anything else.
Yeah, what have we got next week to talk about? We have
She-Hulk again.
Yep, She-Hulk episode 3, and probably nothing else is going to come up. So we'll see what we can do.
Oh, is it the first Rings of Power episode next week? I think
Yes,
that's the second,
on
isn't it?
on Friday, I think. Yeah.
So yeah, should be that as well.
All right. Well, there we go. So we've got 2 things next week. So, thank you very much for watching, and
Yeah, thanks
see
for
you next
watching.
week. Goodbye.
Bye.